Okay, so let's get started with the makeup. Did I get a new primer? No, I didn't. So we're gonna stick to our normal serum. I am super into the Shiseido Ultimune Power Infusing Concentrate. I like this because it's not overly hydrating. I use a lot of anti-acne treatments on my skin, and right now I'm having the hormonal breakout from hell, like all through here. Oddly enough, I thought my skin would clear up during quarantine, and it has not. We're gonna go in with the Urban Decay Stay Naked Pro Customizer Red Color Corrector. So I think it's really important for me to cover those up before I even go in to do my foundation. All right, I'm just using an e.l.f. brush to push that into the skin. Tell me about how you guys are holding up during the quarantine. I am getting, like, you know, obviously people are telling me that they're stressed out. Some people really love it. Some people are unsure. Some people are nervous about their jobs. Like, what is going on? I don't want to talk about it too much, but I don't want to like do a makeup video and not acknowledge that this is something that a lot of people are facing right now. So like, let's talk about it. So I personally feel really happy at home. I am very much so a homebody, and anytime I look past, like, back in my life, anytime I've been the happiest is when I've been in a position where I've been working from home, or I didn't have to go into an office that often. So I just really thrive kind of just being independent, but some people really do rely on like work and work functions and after work functions to keep them busy, keep their head clear, you know, and if that is you, then, and this time is really hard for you, I'm sorry. Definitely get on Zoom calls with your friends, find a way to socialize so that this time isn't just awful for you and you're not counting down the days until the lockdown is lifted. By the way, I'm using the Smashbox Studio Skin Full Coverage 24-Hour Foundation in the color 4. This is a very beautiful satin finish. We are just gonna tap that on over the color corrected area so that we don't move that red around too much, but we also mask it appropriately. Okay, we have new concealers to try today. We have the Hourglass Vanish Concealer, which I've tried in store on my hand and I like loved the result. And then we have the Pat McGrath Labs Skin Finish Sublime Perfecting Concealer. Let's do this one. Her products have a very satin finish from what I understand, and I'm nervous to like actually wear it when I have to go somewhere. So I feel like being at home is like the perfect situation to try it. A couple things about Pat McGrath. She is a celebrity makeup artist. She really is one of the original makeup artists to kind of become a celebrity in their own right. I got the color LM13 because she was the makeup artist when supermodels walked in the runway, like Cindy Crawford, Naomi Campbell, like the rise of the supermodel kind of. And that's really who pioneered that supermodel look. So this concealer has amazing reviews on Sephora. We're just gonna pop it on like where we traditionally would. Apply our concealer, and I can tell you right off the bat, it feels really good. Like, it feels like the moment I put it on my skin, it immediately hugs the skin and adheres to it nicely. Just gonna put our concealer on everywhere we want to really augment or highlight. For me, I have to build my forehead because I don't have one, and then pull my chin out a little bit, the appearance of my chin a little bit, so I put a little concealer here. Okay, let's buff this out. We are gonna start on the chin area. This is just a mini buffer sponge from Real Techniques, but I did get another sponge from Real Techniques that's more so for like blushes, bronzers, highlighters, and we're gonna try that too. So the Sephora website says that the concealer is a creamy, radiant, matte, full coverage. So to me, what that really tells me is that you're gonna get the coverage that you want. It's gonna be really concealing and beautiful, but it's gonna look like skin. It's not gonna be super dry. It's gonna really settle into the skin nicely and blend in well, so you're not gonna be able to really tell that you have a full coverage concealer on your face. So it's not a super made up look like a Tarte Shape Tape or something. It also has ingredients in the concealer that blur and kind of bounce light off so that you can hide imperfections like under eye wrinkles, creasing, and then just really gives a soft finish to the eye. So far it's blending out really nicely. I thought it was going to be really sheer and like I was going to have to add a bunch of layers, but this is very skin-like, and I like the shade range, the color range too, you guys. Is very accommodating. That's one thing I can say, because Pat McGrath is a a woman of color, and she has understood personally the struggle of like finding the correct shade matches. So it doesn't surprise me that she launched her own makeup line and then made sure that it was very inclusive as well. Okay, so I think that that looks really pretty and very skin-like. Obviously, like, these lights are super bright, so it's going to make me personally notice every imperfection, but to just the eye, straight on when I'm looking in my mirror, it looks really good. So we're going to add just one more layer just to see if we can build up the intensity, build up the coverage. Just right here, this is where I like to look very bright, very highlighted, and we're going to actually buff that with the brush and see what that looks like. Okay, so I have my Real Techniques sculpting brush, and we're just gonna pat that over to see if we get more coverage or a better end product. When you use a wet beauty sponge, although it does buff the makeup into the skin very nicely, you lose a little bit of the product because some of it gets absorbed into the sponge, and if it's wet, some of it's gonna get diluted. So to really like test the capacity of a concealer, the coverage, the longevity, the wearability, I like to go in with a brush. So I liked it like, I'd give it like 4 stars with the sponge, but I'm gonna give it 5 stars with the brush because this is what looks really, really good to me, is with the brush. Oh, that looks so good, like skin. Okay, so before this creases, we are just gonna pat out the under eyes, and we're gonna go in with our Damp Beauty sponge from Real Techniques. We're gonna go in with the Hourglass loose setting powder, and we're just gonna pack that on the other under eyes. The reason I chose the Hourglass setting powder for this look is because it's very soft and it's not very heavy, and it doesn't have a lot of color to it, and I don't want to cover up the concealer. I really want to see what it does, and if I went in with something really heavy duty like my Hourglass, I mean my Huda Beauty one, then I think that that would do a lot of the heavy lifting for the product, and then you really wouldn't see the potential. So we're just patting that out down my nasal labial folds, which are the death of me, and on top of the lid. We're now going to sandwich our powder with MAC Studio Fix powder in NC30. This is a full coverage powder, and I'm taking a Real Techniques buffing brush, and I'm just pushing that in on top of the skin. This is what I always do to make sure that my under eyes look flawless, that they don't move, and that I don't have flashback. So you can set all day long, but if you have flashback, then you're not really, you know, you don't look your best, because then you're going to be self-conscious to take pictures. Now for contour, we're going to go in with our Huda Beauty Tantour in the color medium. I love this product because it's very much a cream product, so you can actually like get into your jawline and really chisel things out, but it doesn't move around too much because it dries matte. So it's kind of the most ideal situation for me, and it comes in a lot of colors to suit several skin tones. What I also love about this product and using it with a small brush is that it's really nice for getting into that inner corner of your nose where your brow meets your bridge, and then just kind of puffing that in there and making it look like your actual bone structure. I'm actually going to take a little bit of this and kind of buff that on top of the lid to kind of mimic the continuation of this bone into the crease. Alright, now that I've got my Huda Beauty Tantour on, I'm going to go over the outer edges of the face with MAC Studio Fix powder in NW45. This one is a red toned powder, and what I like about that for the around the edges is that it really warms me up, but I don't use bronzer because I'm already brown and it just doesn't really look the same. So for me and my complexion, I just typically prefer a darker powder, although I do want to try the Fenty Beauty bronzers because they don't look shimmery, they actually just look like darker powders, and so that might be suitable for me. Also, taking one powder and then just kind of dusting the outer edges really helps bring your contour together on your face without looking like you are contouring like the old school way where you have like a triangle and lines. Like this just kind of like fuses those colors together, but you still have like defined segments where certain areas are lighter and darker. For brows, we are going to do the little technique I've been doing lately, which is grabbing Duo brush on eyelash glue, taking a little bit through the brows while the glue is wet. We're taking our spoolie, which I bent, and then brushing the hair up so that it stays in that beautiful upright position. Now we're going to take our Anastasia Beverly Hills dip brow in the color Ebony, and we're just going to take a tiny little bit and start to create little stroke-like lines and fill in those gaps. I would say of all the beauty trends that are like out right now, brows and having feathered up brows, and that's been the biggest difference. That's been the biggest like noticeable change that I think like really takes your makeup from like how it used to be in like 2015 to now. Okay, and then I went through the brow with my NYX brow pencil. This is the micro brow pencil, and I use the color Espresso. I bought 4 of these right before quarantine hit, and I'm so thankful for it because if there's one thing I cannot live without, it's my brows. So as you can see, there's a very large difference in width between this and this. This is probably a little bit fuller than I would have gone, but it's fine, we'll make it work. But I am a firm believer that you can achieve a natural looking brow without having to use products that are going to make it look like you're drawing something on. The way I do that is to use the eyelash glue and then push the hair up, and what it does is helps me create a little bit of a canvas so that I can feather in that, that look. Okay, so now that we have the brows on, we are just going to take a little bit more of our Hourglass setting powder, and we're just going to tap that on underneath the eyes because we're going to do some eye makeup and we don't want any fallout. So a couple ways that I've been staying busy and productive aside from working from home and like actually having to like work and get on conference calls and stuff is I just keep a little planner. I got one from Amazon, and what it does is it kind of like helps me write down like what I'm doing the next day, so that even if I start to get like distracted by like TikTok, which oh my god, that's a whole another episode or a whole another makeup tutorial because I love TikTok. If I start to get distracted, then I don't beat myself up about it because I just know that if I accomplished everything on my list that I wanted, then we'll be good. Okay, so we are going to go in with the J. Torre Beauty Sassy Palette. You guys, when your friend launches a makeup line, you use it, not only just because she's my friend, because this is amazing. These colors, this one I wore to a birthday party, so gorge. So we are going to try the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Eyeshadow Primer. This is highly, highly rated online, and I don't always use eyeshadow primers. I sometimes just use concealers, or if I do, it's a PAMELUXE, but we're going to change things up today and go in with this because it has really good reviews online. I'm just taking an eyeshadow brush and I'm kind of tapping that out onto the lid. That primer feels really good. It's really nicely buffed into the skin. All right, for eyeshadow, we're going to build up the crease with this warm brown color right here. Pop that on into the crease, taking it a little bit past the brow and then into the front part of the brow. So it's almost like a wave because you want it to like come through the front of the brow, go through the crease, and then out the back. All right, we're going to build up the crease by taking this darker brown right here, and we're just going to kind of section that through the crease, and we're not taking it all over the place because we don't want to hide that transition color that we just put down. So this is really just staying isolated to this part of the eyelid, this inner corner area right here, and then the crease right here. You can see what a difference that makes and how much definition that gives the eye. All right, now let's take our little Sephora brush. This is a smudger brush. We're going to take this dark brown color right here, and we're going to go even more niche down into this outer edge right here. Really hugging just this little area on the outermost corner. Take that same one right here and then just go right in here. All right, now just to bring the look together a little bit more, we're going to take a fluffy brush and we're going to go in with that first transition color, and we're going to mix it in with a little bit of that tan color right there, and we're just going to go on the very edge of those shadows and go in tiny little circular motions to buff out the edge. And you see how much better that looks in that. That's fine, but this is better because it looks a little bit more soft, a little bit more blended. So it's just that tan color that we did the transition with, and then a little bit of a lighter brown, and then we're gonna do it again. All you do is go on the outer edge and then do mini buffs. All right, now for the center of the eye, we're gonna go in with a little bit of our NARS Cafe Con Leche concealer, and we're just gonna dot that on the eye and blend that out. And you're gonna look up to see where it stamps, and that's how high you wanna take your product. But you don't want to cover that dark brown entirely. You want to leave a little bit there to peek out. And now on top of that concealer, we're going to take this creamy color right here and we're just going to push that on top of that area. And the line that I used to kind of create that spotlight wasn't super precise. To me, I don't mind. I don't want like an Instagram cut crease, so if the edges are a little bit soft, I'm okay with it. I just want the main part, which is the center and right next to the lash line, to be clean. The edges I'm fine with. All right, now we're gonna go in with the BH Cosmetics brush and we're gonna go in with this orange color right here, and where that cream color meets the dark brown, we're gonna tap a little bit of orange on top of that at a time. And you want to go slow for this part because you want to really fuse the dark brown and then the cream together without covering either of the colors. So it's really important to just go really slow and then work your way up from this corner to the center of the crease and then back down through here really slowly. And for underneath the eye, the lower lash line, we're going to take our dip brow again. I'm going to use this as an eyeliner. I am a firm believer in like using products in multiple ways. I just, you know, if you've got it in your collection, why not? So we're going to take an angled brush and we're going to line the lower lash line. And I'm taking it a little bit past the lower lash line so that I can kind of smudge it just a bit, but I don't want that heavy of a lower lash smoke. I think we can agree that this looks terrifying. We're going to take our angled brush with this dark brown color right here and then stamp that out on top of that eyeshadow to really on top of that dip brow to lock it in, and then we're going to take a tan color to buff out the edges to warm it up. You guys, look how cute this brush is from Sephora. I think it's so pretty. So let's go in with this orange color that we used as our accent color on the top of our eye. And on the very edge of that brown, lean forward so you can see, I'm just going to take that and then buff it so that it looks like the dark brown has something to fade into. All right, now let's dust off our bake. I'm going to finish off the rest of the face, and I'm going to do my eyes, or my eyeliner and my lashes and mascara last because I don't want to get any like powder particles on them. But the highlighter we're going to use today is from Wet n Wild. It's called After Glow, and it's the Hello Halo Blush Highlighter combo, and this is it. I am a very big fan of Wet n Wild highlighters. I love a lot of their products, and I'm super excited to try this. All right, for blush, I wanted to do a little combo of this color right here mixed with a bit of the orange to kind of pull in some of the colors that we use. So I'm just going to tap, flick off the excess, and then I'm going to start diagonal from the pupil and then work my way up to the corner of the eye. So I'm starting right here and then working my way up, and keeping the blush really centralized will kind of give you more of a youthful look. It doesn't look as like 80s. If you take the blush too far out towards your ear, it's going to start to look very 1980s. I also take a little bit of that orange and then I kind of go over around my mouth area to warm it up just a bit. All right, for mascara, we're going to go in with the L'Oreal Voluminous Base. This primer I swear by. It's been tried and true for many years. And then the Maybelline The Falsies Push Up Drama Mascara. So we're just going to layer those on. All right, for lashes, we're going to go in with the J. Torre Beauty lashes in Milan Snow, and they're named after her daughter, which I think is so cute. So it's a really nice pair. They're spiky, and the packaging is so cute. And I wore them before, so they're nice and broken in. We're going to use that same brush-on duo that we used to groom our brows with and pop this on. Okay, so time for the lip. Today we are going to be trying the Kylie Jenner Dulce de Leche Cream Lipstick. This was in the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty haul, or 21 Days of Beauty sale. So I do my lipstick first before my liner. I just always have, so that's what I'm going to do here. It's a cream formula, and it's a really nice coral. So that looks real crazy on its own, but we're gonna go in and we're gonna take her liner in 20. This is probably one of my top favorite liners ever. Go over the edge and then really give that coral orange lipstick something to bleed into. That's pretty, but my number one tip for wearing coral lipsticks if you are a brown girl is to take a brown liner. I'm gonna KKW 2.5 and then just lightly go over the edge of your lip look with a brown, and it just pulls the whole thing together. You don't have to like change the color of your lipstick, but just sketch the outer edge. Definitely like a lot more coral than I normally do, but it's nice. It's warm, and the coral ties into the orange that we have on the lid and lower lash line. Alright you guys, that concludes this look. Today we really focused on the PAMELUXE Labs Concealer. We used a couple of other new products and we used some oldies as well, but I can honestly safely say that the star standout product of this entire look is this concealer. Not only does it dry down matte, it has a little bit of a radiance to it, so it makes it look like skin. If I could actually pick just one word to describe this concealer, it would be the word huggable. The moment I put it onto my skin, I really just felt like it blended straight in. It gave me beautiful radiant coverage without feeling dry, cakey, or enhancing any texture, which is an A+ in my book. So if you can head to the Sephora app and get this while you have free shipping on all orders right now during quarantine, I highly recommend it. If you could consider subscribing, it would mean the world to me. I'm a small creator and I really enjoy creating educational and entertaining content for you all. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.